So they're going to the top. As we break into the last part of the forest, the part we haven't charted, I stop. Wait, I say. If we're really going to clear this hill, I want to pull out all the last tangles and twists so we can stand on the top free and open. Behind the patience on Kai's face, I see worry that we aren't going to make it in time. Even now, the whistle could be shrilling below us, and I wouldn't hear it over the beating of our hearts and the sound of our breathing in and out, the same air. I was scared yesterday. Of what? That we fell in love because of the officials, I say. They told you about me. They told me about you. The morning after my match, when your face came up on my microcard by mistake. You and I knew each other all along, but we never did anything about it until... I can't finish my sentence, but Kai knows what I mean. You don't throw something away just because they predicted it, he protests. But I don't want to be defined by their choices, I say. You're not, he says. You never have to be. Sisyphus and the rock, I say, remembering grandfather would have understood that story. He rolled the rock. He lived the life the society planned for him, but his thoughts were always his own. Kai smiles. Exactly. But we, he tugs at my hand gently, are going to make it to the top, and maybe even stand there for a minute. Come on. I have to tell you something else, I say. Is it about the sort? He asks. Yes. Kai interrupts me. They told us. I'm part of the group that's going to get a new work position. I already know. Does he know? Does he know his life will be shorter if he keeps working at the disposal center? Does he know he was right on the line between those who stayed and those who moved on? Does he know what I did? He sees the questions in my eyes. I know you had to sort us into two groups. I know I was probably right in the middle. Do you want to know what I did? I can guess, he says. They told you about the life expectancy and the poisons, didn't they? That's why you put me where you did. Yes, I say. You know about the poisons too? Of course, most of us figure it out, but none of us are in a position to complain. Our lives are still much longer here than they'd be in the outer provinces. Kai? It's hard to ask, but I have to know. Are you leaving? He looks up. Above us, fierce and golden, the sun climbs the sky. I'm not sure. They haven't told us yet, but I know we don't have much time. When we reach the top of the hill, it feels completely different in some ways and not in others. He's still Kai, I'm still Kasha, but we stand together in a place where neither of us has been before. It's the same world, gray and blue and green and gold, that I've seen all my life. The same world I saw from grandfather's window and the top of the little hill, but I'm higher now. If I had wings, I could spread them. I could soar. I want you to have this, Kai says, handing me the artifact. I don't know how to use it, I say, not wanting to reveal how much I want to accept his gift, how deeply I ache to hold and have something that is part of his story and part of him. I think Xander can teach you, he says gently, and I draw in my breath. Is he telling me goodbye? Is he telling me to trust in Xander, to be with Xander? Before I can ask, Kai pulls me close and his words are in my ear, warm and whispered. It will help you find me, he says, if I ever do go anywhere. My face fits perfectly into the spot against his shoulder, near his neck, where I can both hear his heart and smell his skin. I'm safe here, too. Some essential part of me is safer with Kai than anywhere else. Kai presses another piece of paper into my hand. The last part of my story, he says. Will you save it? Don't look at it yet. Why? Just wait, he says, voice quiet, strong. Wait a little while. I have something for you too, I say. Pulling away just a little, reaching into my pocket, I give him the scrap of fabric, the green silk from my dress. He holds it up to my face to see how I look that night at the match banquet. Beautiful, he says gently. He put his arms around me on the top of the hill. From where we stand, I see clouds and trees and the dome of City Hall and the tiny houses of the boroughs in the distance. For one brief moment, I see it all, this world of mine, and then I look back at Kai. Kai says, Kasha, and closes his eyes, and I close mine too so that I can meet him in the dark. I feel his arms around me and the smoothness of the green silk as he presses his hand against the small of my back and pulls me closer, closer. Kasha, he says once more, softly, so close his lips meet mine at last. At last. I think he might have meant to say something more, but when our lips touch, there's no need, for once, for any words at all. Chapter 29. There is screaming in the burrow again, and this time it is human. What was it last time there was screaming? Chainsaws, the trees getting cut down, the maple trees. I open my eyes. It's so early in the morning that the sky is more black than blue, the slice of dawn at the edge of the horizon more promise than reality. My door slams open, and in the rectangle of light I see my mother. "Kasha," she says in relief, and she turns back to call my father. "She's fine." "Bram too," he calls back, and then we are all in the hall going toward the front door because someone on our street is screaming, and the sound is so uncommon it cuts deep. We may not hear the sound of pain often in Maple Tree Burrow, but the instinct to try to help has not yet been matched out of us. My father throws open the door, and we all look out. The streetlights seem dimmer, the officials' coats dull and gray. They walk fast, a figure between them. Behind them, a few more people, officers, and someone else, screaming. Even in the muted glow of the streetlights, I recognize her. Ada Markham. Someone who has borne pain before and who bears it again now as she chases the figure surrounded by officials and officers. Kai. Kai! For the first time in my life, I run as fast as I can in public. No tracker to slow me, no branches to stop me. My feet fly over grass, over cement. I cut across the lawns of my neighbors and through their flowers, trying to catch up to the lead group moving toward the air train stop. An officer detaches from them and hurries toward Ada. She's drawing too much attention. Other houses have open doors and people standing on the steps watching. I run faster. My feet hit the sharp, cool grass of M's lawn. A few houses more. "Kasha?" M calls from her doorway. "Where are you going?" Kai hasn't heard me over Ada's screams. They're almost to the steps that go up to the air train platform. When they walk under the light at the bottom, I see they've locked Kai's hands together, just like they did in the picture. "Kai!" I scream again, and his head snaps up. He turns to face toward me, but I am not close enough yet to see his eyes. I have to see his eyes. Another officer breaks away from the group and heads in my direction. I should have waited until I was closer before I called out, but I am still fast. I'm almost there. Part of my mind tries to process what's happening. Are they taking him away for his new work position? If so, why so early in the morning? Why is Ada so upset? Wouldn't she be happy to know he has a new chance? Something better than washing foilware? Why is he wearing hand locks? Did he try to fight them? Did they see the kiss? Is that why this is happening? I see the air train sliding along the tracks toward the station, but it's not the air train we usually ride, the silvery white one. It's the charcoal gray long-distance train, the kind that only departs from the city center. I can hear it coming, too. It's heavier, louder than the white one. Something isn't right. And if I didn't know that already, the word Kai calls out to me as they push him up the steps confirms everything. Because there, in front of everyone, all his survival instincts leave him, and a different instinct takes over. He calls my name. "Kasha!" In that one word, I hear it all. That he loves me, that he's afraid, and I hear the goodbye he was trying to tell me yesterday on the hill. He knew. He's not just leaving for a new work position. He's going somewhere, and he doesn't think he'll come back. I hear footsteps behind me, soft on the grass, and footsteps in front of me, hard on the metal. I glance back and see an officer hurrying toward me, forward, and an official rushes down the metal stairs. Ada's no longer screaming. They want to stop me the way they stopped her. I can't get to him, not this way, not now. I can't push past the officer on the stairs. I'm not strong enough to fight them or fast enough to outrun them. Do not go gentle. I don't know if Kai speaks the words in my mind somehow, or if I think them to myself, or if Grandfather might be out there somewhere in this almost night calling words on the wind, words with wings like angels. I veer to the side of the platform, feet fast on the cement. Kai sees what I'm doing, and he twists away, a sharp movement that earns him a second of freedom before their hands clamp down on him again. It is enough. For a moment, he leans over the edge of the lighted platform, and I see what I need to see. I see his eyes, bright with life and fire, and I know he won't stop fighting, even if it's the kind of quiet fight on the inside that you can't always see. And I won't stop fighting either. The calls of the officials and the sound of the air train sliding to a stop will cover my words. Kai won't be able to hear anything I say. So in the middle of all the noise, I point to the sky. I hope he understands what I mean, because I mean so many things. My heart will always fly his name. I won't go gentle. I'll find a way to soar like the angels in the stories, and I will find him. And I know he understands as he looks straight at me, deep into my eyes. His lips move silently, and I know what he says. The words of a poem that only two people in the world know. Tears well up, but I blink them away, because if there is one moment in my life that I want to see clearly, this is it. The officer reaches me first, grabbing my arm and pulling me back. We'll stop there.